Well, hello jellos of all sorts, textures, and flavors.
What's up, guys?
This is Luisa.
And Stassi.
Tuning in with
Talk Tiles.
Today we're going to continue bringing spooks to your ears because it's still Talktober. What are we going to talk about, Stassi?
The Salem Witch Trials.
Oh my gosh, I remember that from high school.
Yeah, I think it was maybe 10th or 11th grade when I read The Crucible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I really loved that book for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I remember in high school when I would read that, I would think about it all night and sometimes not fall asleep. Like, it was pretty... It actually was scary.
It was definitely like it was terrifying that kids can do such a thing. I think right after that I read The Scarlet Letter. Do you remember that book?
I kind of don't. No,
it was
not
about
Scarlet
that
Letter, no.
that woman who was married.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, I think when her husband went away, she had a coitus with another man.
Coitus.
Coitus again. Coitus with another man and was with child. So she had a child from another man, and then the whole town was just like, oh, you have to wear this letter on you, which was an A that would stand for adulterer or something like that.
Wow, I think that actually does sound familiar now that you're talking about it, but it also reminds me of another movie called Easy A.
I haven't watched that.
Yeah, if anyone has watched that, you know that this sounds familiar. She had an A because apparently she was, hooking up with a lot of the people in college or high school, but she actually wasn't. I don't know. It was a whole story, but she had that A on her sweaters.
What did the A stand for?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't remember? Yeah. Okay.
I think it was like an easy A because they thought she was hooking up with a teacher. I don't know if anyone knows.
Easy A. Yeah, if you guys
people
know, comment under. Let us know.
Yeah, maybe help people who are listening. But we're also going to throwing it back to our childhood. I remembered high school, and I'm going to remember middle school and elementary now.
Yeah.
Song of the day is going to be...
You Are the Music in Me by High School Musical, and I think it was High School Musical 2.
Yes, it was. Oh, man. I know we're going to sound like children, but I am a child at heart.
I know. We love it. Usually when we drive, we have these carpool karaoke.
Yep.
Things that we do, and we throw it back to Hannah Montana and High School Musical. That's So Raven.
Again, child at heart. But unfortunately, we're not really able to share a lot of music with you guys and do carpool karaoke's because of the copyright issues.
Yeah, or else we would literally post it because we have such a blast and it's so funny, and I think you guys would love it.
So witches and Salem Witch Trials. We're going to have Stassi cover a little bit of the history. You want to go for it?
Yeah, so the Salem Witch Trials basically were a series of hearings and prosecutions that occurred in colonial Massachusetts between February 1692 and May 1693. A group of girls accused more than 200 people of being or practicing witchcraft. And
girls accused them?
Group of girls. And out of those 200 people, 19 were actually found guilty and executed by hanging.
Do you know how they were found guilty?
So I think most of them just either said they were.
Or admitted to it in like a... with anger.
They admitted it or...
like neighbors and stuff, because I remember people would say, oh, I heard that my neighbor was barking, or my neighbor was, because they said that the witches would bark and stuff, right? I remember something like that in the Crucible.
Yeah, it was because so there were two prominent girls in the I guess the story. So 9-year-old Elizabeth, she was referred to as Betty Paris.
And familiar.
11-year-old Abigail Williams. I think she's
that one's familiar too.
In the story. So they started having fits, and they were violent, and they had uncontrollable outbursts of screaming. So they got visited by a local doctor who was known as William Griggs, and he diagnosed the girls as being bewitched.
What if they were just demonized?
Yeah,
they needed some exorcism.
No, yeah, they claimed the girls claimed that they were possessed by the devil.
Really?
Yeah.
They claimed themselves?
Yeah, they said that the devil possessed them, but then I guess the doctor said, oh, they were deemed like bewitched.
And wasn't there like some leader that would do this to these girls?
I'm not sure, but I know that there was a in one of the households there was a Caribbean slave. Her name was Tituba. I think that sounds familiar for everyone who's familiar with the story. Tituba was a slave who, with other women, were one of the people who were accused of bewitching the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people denied that they were guilty, but Tituba was a prominent figure in the story because she confessed. And it's likely that she confessed in order to like save herself from certain convictions. She was, an African American at this time.
Yeah, and it's much worse.
Yeah, it was much worse.
This is when there was only 13 colonies, right?
Yes, it was
in the East Coast.
It was during the New World. So yeah, it was the 13 colonies.
Yeah, this is like way before.
Yeah,
we.
Yeah, it was in the 1600s, way before. And Tituba actually said that she kind of went along with the story and said there were other people who did these things with me, which is ironic because it was
she basically burnt them out.
Yeah.
And they hung these people, huh? They hung them or burned them or
hung them.
What about the burning? Because like I always hear burning, but I am familiar with the Crucible, but I don't remember. Like this was such a long time ago. But probably literally like remembering Vampire Diaries right now.
No,
that time where they were burning the originals were burning people. I guess.
Yeah, I remember the Vampire Diaries and the originals. I loved it, but I'm not quite sure about burning and the Salem Witch Trials.
Yeah, but do you have anything else that you want to share with us about the history of the Salem Witch Trials?
I mean, I think our listeners should, if they would like, read The Crucible, which is a play that has been based off of the Salem Witch Trials. I think it's a great story, and again, it is dramatized for.
But everything is in the entertainment world.
I enjoyed reading it, and I don't know. And there were little clips of it. I think there's a movie out too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's actually I've seen before on Netflix. I would see the. Episodes. It was a series of the Salem Witch Trials. I mean, I tried watching it, but after like 5 minutes in, I was like, nope, this is going to make me get nightmares or sleep paralysis, as we talked about in the last podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically the history of the Salem Witch Trials. Anything else?
Well, I think just, how it ended, the trials were deemed unlawful.
So does that mean that they were basically...
Yeah, they came to an end.
Yeah, okay.
And then the leading justice, who was Samuel Sewall during this time, actually publicly apologized.
Thanks, Stassi, for all that information. You're the professional when it comes to history, per usual, and it comes to the government and all that kind of stuff. But I actually researched a little bit about are witches actually real? I mean, this question is childish sometimes to people, but I found a lot of information, and it was funny because some people say that a witch isn't a witch that we assume it is. We imagine a witch as from Hansel and Gretel, the witch that bakes.
So you're saying that witches do not necessarily have to have a hat and a big nose and long fingernails.
Yeah, not the same witch from my sleep paralysis stories. But yeah, they say that a lot of people can be a witch. Just us putting a bathtub with candles and roses to calm and relax us. It's basically like witchcraft.
That's interesting. I've never thought of that.
They're saying that as long I don't know. They say that they spell magic with a K, so that it's different than stage magic, and that it's the point of it is to basically direct the energy that you want towards yourself or towards something, and we do it all the time. I don't know. Doesn't that sound interesting?
That does sound interesting. I mean, have you heard of the law of attraction?
Yes, and that's basically what they're saying it is. I mean,
because when you said that, that's literally what I thought about. And
and they say that the more you do it, the better you get at it. And I mean, it's crazy, but I guess it makes sense when if I'm better at making myself feel better, the more I do it, the better I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
So that's just, I guess I'm a witch. Are you a witch, Stassi?
I mean, I guess I'm a pessimist, so maybe not to like a very far extent, but I'm trying to be one at least.
But honestly, I don't know. I feel like there still is people who think they're witches. You know, like mediums, like the people who tell the future, the psychics. Like I don't know. I would call them a witch. I don't know about what you would call them, but I think they're a witch. I mean, if they could tell the future.
I mean, it depends what we define a witch as.
Well, in my head, that's what I mean. My childhood.
I mean, there are like oracles who see the future, etc. Like these people are named different.
But then there's those ones that practice like
dark magic. Yeah, I mean,
and I've heard of them, and it's kind of scary. Like they curse and all that kind of stuff. Like I know about these things, and I'm just like,
first of all, I'm scared of those people.
Me too. I really hope I never meet one. Unless I have already.
It just so these people can just disguise as normal people, and we might not even know who they are.
Yeah, I mean they are normal people, but they just are they're practicing things that
How do they even have time for that? I barely have time to see you.
Well, everyone invests their time in what they think is important, and I guess the witches think their witchcraft is more important. But yeah, we don't mean actual witchcraft. I don't mean like abracadabra and what does Harry Potter say?
Alakazam.
Wizard stuff,
Yeah, like
the only wizarding I do is on RuneScape, guys. RuneScape, if you want to play with me, add me on RuneScape. I'll write my name in the description. Yeah.
Do you guys
maybe we could play
Wizard 101?
Oh yeah. Anyways.
But that's weird because like I always growing up tied wizards and witches with powers like a wand. But
exactly. But no. It's not done that way. It is not. I know people who do it with like yarn, and I don't know. It's scary. I don't even want to get into it anymore. But
yeah, that's scary.
But that's basically it for today's podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to the Salem Witch Trials, the history, and what today serves us when it comes to witches.
Yes. We were able to tie history once again with today's world.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And always.
I think that's something that we do that I really like because it's not just stating history that everyone can just look up and see. We're tying it with
now
events occurring
and possibly the future.
Yeah, and I like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, we hope you have the good rest of the day, or a good night, or a good morning. This is Luisa again.
And Stassi
signing out.